Hello and welcome back to another Thoughts Per Episode Doctor Who edition. Today we will be discussing Season 2, Episode 5, The Story and the Engine. However, it's probably going to be another short one because this was probably the first episode to mostly be a miss for me. And I don't love lingering too long on something that I don't have too much positive to say about. I was down for a Nigerian episode. I was down to go somewhere that I don't know much about and spend time in a culture I don't know much about, but ultimately, unfortunately, this story mostly just kind of felt incoherent in terms of plot. It reminded me of some of the worst 13th Doctor episode scripts. It reminds me of the Frog episode, the weird space frog episode of Jodie Whittaker's era, in that it just... I finished the episode and I looked back on it and I just thought, I don't really know what I just watched. I can't really piece together who the villain was, why they were doing what they were doing, where they were going with what they were doing. You know, just like some of the basic fundamentals of what you should be able to get out of a story I didn't get out of this, I'm afraid. And I gave this episode my undivided attention. It's not for want of trying. I went in with an open mind. But it was an episode which, through and through, felt like the characters within the story understood the story more than I did. And that just ends up with you feeling a little bit frustrated. We should probably just quickly go through the story as I understood it to give an overall idea of where I'm coming from here. As I understand it, the Doctor goes to a barbershop with people that he knows there and finds the barbershop hijacked by a being, a god of sorts, or just a scientifically advanced person who's taken it over to harvest stories from people who would come and get their hair done to power a machine to take them to ... And they also wanted to use this power to remove the stories of the various mythologies of the human race because... That's about all I've got. Now, maybe I'm really stupid. Maybe I missed some big, obvious things. I have seen other people saying similar things because I was concerned. I was like, I'm about to go online and publicly declare that I didn't get it. How common is not getting it? And I do not seem to be the only one. And as far as episodes about the power of stories goes, I think I can just look to Rings of Arcatan for a slightly more coherent story there. We did have Jo Martin show up as the fugitive Doctor. Well, she didn't show up, like, in the story, you know what I mean? No, she showed up in the episode as part of the story because it was revealed that one of the characters... Ananti, I believe it was, is someone from the Doctor's past and someone from that era of the Doctor's life. It was a very brief cameo and the dialogue was very vague and weird, like it kind of has been throughout this entire episode. And I don't know if it's supposed to imply that we're going to be talking about the fugitive Doctor soon in upcoming seasons in RTD2, or if they're just going, hey, we haven't forgotten about her and a future showrunner maybe can take up the reins and continue that story. It's like, okay, sure, I guess. I didn't really understand how there was a separate dimension with a spider crawling across a web, or why that was important, or how that could exist. If you can't tell, I just don't have much to say on this one. It was just a miss. It was just a miss for me. But hey, you know what? They tried something, and even if it didn't work, I think you should try stuff. Right? I'm not going to say this episode shouldn't have existed or anything like that. But yeah, when I decided to start doing Thoughts Per Episode stuff for Doctor Who, I always knew we would hit episodes like this where I would just be like, all I've got to say is it didn't land for me. And I guess that's alright. My main takeaway from this, though, is that Jo Martin and Michelle Gomez attended the Doctor Who Season 2 premiere. And at first we were like, oh, that's nice. You know, they're inviting kind of friends and family to the show. They're inviting Doctor Who alumni to the show. But Jo Martin was probably there because she had a role in this season, which makes me think, is Michelle Gomez also gonna pop up during this season? Maybe during the Interstellar Song Contest? I don't know. Probably not, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for coming and listening to some guy say, I didn't get it. Rejoin me next week when hopefully I will have more to say.